Welcome back to this Let's Play of the original official campaign of Neverwinter Nights 2. Last time we started exploring Riverguard Keep here at the ruins of Arvon, which are part of the Half-Orc Empire, where we're trying to find a couple statues, which gives us some nifty special abilities we will need to defeat the King of Shadows, who is an ancient Half-Orc guardian gone, somewhat cranky.
Come on, follow me! Keep up!
But, we've only found one of those statues so far, and there's another one down at the bottom of Riverguard Keep. I'll just sort of give that away. I guess I should. You'd probably come to the it's probably. I mean, they gotta be somewhere.
Attack!
And there are a couple other things in here.
You ain't got a chance!
These goblins with their nice little spell casting. I'm going to be using, or at least trying to use, Bigby's forceful hand on them, just to try and get around them somewhat, because, well, it's a convenient way to get rid of them quickly without too much trouble. Cast invisibility before I could actually complete the spell. I guess we'll just have to walk around him and kill all his friends. I'll just rest up at the end of this floor, so I'm going to forceful hand this cleric here. Now, if you forceful hand them, you still have to, hit them until they die, but they don't fight back, and that's really very important with a lot of these enemies, since some of them are actually a little bit dangerous. Not real dangerous, especially when you, like I do, just fully buff up. There's one door here I haven't opened. I'm going to leave it alone for now. I'm going to clean everything up and head back down to the 3rd level. Well, I might go back up to the 1st, actually. There's one thing I want to do up there. Back up here on the 1st floor, we didn't talk to this guy earlier. He said he's the leader of the Bugbears. And more or less, if you talk to him, he will say, kill the Ogre Mage for me and I'll take away my troops. Well, fortunately we already got rid of his troops, so we're not missing out on killing them. One of the guys downstairs dropped an item we'll need, sort of a plot item as it were, called the Master's Shield. It's actually just a normal shield in addition to being a quote-unquote plot item. But there are actually 3 parts of that. The sarcophagus near the door here kind of hints at that. So I'm going to head down to the 3rd level. There's still one door on the 2nd level we haven't messed with, but I'm going to skip by it. Down here on the bottom floor, I'm going to try and be a little clever about this. I'm going to arrange my party back here to, essentially have them set up, ready for a fight. I've cast all my buffs ahead of time, including some fairly short duration ones. And I'm going to cast Ethereal Jaunt on myself. This will make me... Etherealness is essentially super invisibility. Nothing can see through it. Except, I don't think True Seeing can either. But apparently Gelu and Blix here are having some problem with a door. And you can, introduce yourself. Point out that Uthank sent us down here to kill... This is the Ogre Mage everybody's talking about. And we can say he's not really doing anything useful for us, and Gelu has the counter-offer, well, I'll help you if you kill Uthank. And Casphere says, well, we're just kind of switching sides here. And we can say, yeah, there's got to be a better way to do this. And the better way to do this that Gelu finds is that he's just going to kill us and be done with it. And since I'm ethereal right now, all these guys go hostile, sure, but they don't, they can't see me, so they're just going to come back to my party here, and I won't get swarmed, because there's a lot of goblins around the corner there. I think there are probably like 10 or 12 of them, and they all have, maybe not all have, but there are a fair number of spellcasters. Not real powerful spellcasters, but spellcasters nonetheless, capable of casting annoying things like Dispel. I'm gonna, speaking of Dispel, I hit Gelu there with my Bigby's Forceful Hand, which will deal with one of our problems, and he's still sort of well protected at this point, but not in the fight anymore. I'm also going to have Cassivir cast Holy Sword. Now, Holy Sword doesn't actually require that you use it on a sword. It actually works on any weapon. And so he now has this adamantine hammer of holiness. Well, it works quite well. The only disadvantage to the Holy Sword spell is that it's a fairly short duration. Holy Sword has some fairly quirky effects to it. In addition to being a +5 weapon, it also casts Dispel magic on hit, which is, you know, not a standard thing. But it does allow you to deal with mages and their defenses quite effectively. Such that well, obviously you could actually find a Holy Avenger. There is in fact a Holy Avenger in this game. It is, however, not a hammer. So. Looks like that's just about everybody. And Gelu here has the Master's Scepter, which is one of the items that I need to get for this puzzle up here. Oh, I guess Blix is still here. Hans? Hans Blix?
These enemies will not stand against us for long.
Say hi to Fireball, Hans. Oh, he got smitten by Cassivir. Anyway, I'll clean everything up, and then I'm going to head back up to the first level, because I need one more plot item to get through this door over here. And we get that from the bugbear we talked to earlier, but we have to have completed his quest first. Back outside, we have these bugbears over here that we talked to earlier, and we can either hand in the quest, or we can say, well, we're going to back out on it, because these are, you know, evil creatures and we don't want to let them run free. So I'm going to use Bigby's Grasping Hand, just, you know. Grasping Hand is really not as good as Forceful Hand. It just doesn't cripple them as badly. It does hold them in place, but that's really not all that impressive. There's some junk on the ground out here. A couple of the items downstairs I couldn't identify. I could use the Identify spell, but we're trying to use all the spells, so I'm going to cast Legend Lore instead. Legend Lore actually gives you a direct buff to your lore skill, which allows you to identify things, obviously, but it's also useful if you have a campaign setting where the skill is actually important, including this campaign, because there are places later. Well, actually, there have been a couple places in conversation where the lore skill has come up. And so the legend lore skill can be used to get past those challenges, as in addition to actually just identifying items. But whether that justifies it being a level 6 spell, not really. We have all the parts. Let's head back downstairs. This is sort of an amusing sequence, and this guy can actually die if you aren't careful about it, so I cleared out all the enemies before releasing him. And he is Rib Smasher. And, you know, he goes around smashing ribs. Yeah, you'll actually see him in Storm of Zahir as well. He joins your party, actually, there. But here, he's just a freak. And, he's not a really useful freak, but he will help you out fighting the enemies here. This door here is our next objective. I dropped the Master's Scepter, which actually you find on Gelu's corpse. And if you attempt to open the door, it damages you. And then Rib Smasher shows up. And you can ask him to try and open it, because he was smashing the doors upstairs. And then you can tell him to stop. And you get influence with Chandra and Cassivir for tormenting the guy, and then stopping tormenting him. I guess you should have you ceased beating your wife? Well, I guess that's a good thing, right? Anyway, if you have the 3 items, you can just open the door. If you just continually get yourself hurt by the door, it will eventually run out of power, and you'll be able to just walk through it without all the items. You can get supposedly influence with Ziggy for that, but influence with Ziggy doesn't do anything. Here's the second statue.
In ancient times, the Guardian was created to protect Ilfarn. If the time has come to dismantle our great instrument, you will be an agent of its destruction. Take this blessing of protection. May it guard you against the forces of darkness.
The second part of the ritual is complete. Each part of the ritual prepares you for what is to come. Our enemy wears many forms, but all of them are darkness.
With unnecessary dramatic pauses. William Shatner would be proud.
Know that when you surround yourself with the power this ritual bestows, you can protect yourself from his reach. Keep this shield close in the dark places in which we walk.
This is one of the less useful powers, Shining Shield. It essentially gives your entire party member, all your party members, and this at my level, 45 resistance to cold and dark, and and negative energy damage. But that's really not all that useful since it only lasts for 2 rounds. And that's really what cripples all of these special abilities, is that they have short durations. Aurora Chain, I guess, is worth using if you have a sort of a party already, you know, hasted and doing damage, but most of them are, well, they're for plot purposes only. That's it for the keep. I'll meet you back upstairs out on the world map. Now that we've done Uthank's little job, we can hand it in. And, well, that's about all we have time for today. Next time, we will deal with Uthank a second time, and then continue to explore the ruins of Arvon. See you then.